The day has come. The tool to measure the tension on a manual sawmill has finally arrived from WoodMizer. I must admit, so far I'm really impressed, because in reading the information, I believe it says WoodMizer on the front there, but as I was looking at the information inside the box, it's actually a Starrett gauge, and so that's very impressive. Starrett, as many of you know, is very top quality USA made measuring tools and equipment. So once again, probably speaks very positively for WoodMizer and quality, because this is a Starrett gauge, and Starrett is nothing but quality. So what we're going to do today is hook it up, and for the first time I will actually know what the tension is on the blade on my mill and no longer have to guess. Let me see if I can zoom in there. I'm as far as I can go. You'll see black letters and you'll see red letters. Well, the black letters is what I need to watch for, because that's in thousands of pounds of pressure. And so according to the manual that I just read from WoodMizer, on my mill they wanted anywhere between 18 and 20,000 pounds of pressure. And so that's what is ideal for my mill, and well, more specifically this blade. This blade is 1.25 inches wide and 0.042 thick, I believe it is. And so that's the spec for this blade and this mill. So anyway, we'll hook it up and show you how it works. Okay, to hook it up, what you do, the gauge will actually sit on the blade this way, so I'll have to move the camera so you can see the tension move as I turn the crank, but we're just going to get it hooked up for now. It says to keep the blade off of the bottom of the gauge just a little bit, so I'm going like 1/8 of an inch or somewheres in that neighborhood. And it says, and as you can see, the blade is definitely loose. This is the fixed end of the blade, so it says to lock down the fixed end of the blade first. And then what they want you to do, hopefully you can see the dial move, they want you to load the gauge a little bit. So they want you to move it to 1/2 or 3/4 of a turn, and then there's about 1/2 right there, and then lock down the side that will move. So there we are, off the back and off about a little more than 3/4. So we will lock that down. So I'm sure they do that so the dial then can sense well, that will be the 0 point basically. And speaking of 0, then they want you to, of course, to move the gauge to 0. So you're starting at 0. And there we've turned the dial indicator to 0. Okay, so I've repositioned the camera so you can see the dial. And once again, I will 0 the gauge out. And again, as you can see, the blade is pretty loose. So I'm going to move away from the camera. You won't be able to see me. Well, let me maybe just kind of move the camera over there just for a second. The lever right here is the lever that I will be moving in order to tension up the blade. And like I've said before in other videos, it's very manual. The crank basically is obviously threaded, and it goes against a real heavy duty spring so that it's not steel against steel. There is a little bit of flex in there, but I'm basically pushing against this heavy duty spring and then moving the wheel out to increase the tension. So here we go. I'll be watching the dial from the other side, as you'll be seeing it as well. Okay, so we're starting to spin clockwise, which would add the tension. There you can see it's coming off 0 a little bit already. There's 3 revolutions. Well, no, that's a half revolution. There's 4 half. There's 5 half revolutions. There's 6. There's 7. There's 8. There's 9. There's 10. There's 11. There's 12. There's 13. There's 14. Really moved there. There's 15, and we're coming up on 15, and we're right coming up, sneaking up on 20. And actually I've got a little room to go though, but I'm going to back it off just a little bit. Oh, and it says to tap on the blade. Yeah, I'm sneaking up on 20. I'm gonna go low, so I'm gonna go about in the middle there. I'm just backing it off a little bit. There we go. That should be about 18 right there. And I would tell you, when I was running the mill before, as you guys saw on the video, I didn't have the blade near this tight, and so this really has made the tension go way up compared to what I was doing just by guessing, by golly. So that should make a lot of difference, and we'll get this equipment taken off. And well, let's just take it off here. You can see that I'm sure it will just spring to 0 once the tension is taken off the meter or the measuring device. Boy, I locked that down pretty tight. There we go. No tension. And we'll take it off the blade, and we'll be back in a minute. Okay, one final test. Let's see if that log is straight. So keep your fingers crossed. Sorry, hope the camera move didn't make you seasick. Okay, here we go. Let's get rid of some sawdust. Quality of cut is good. Obviously saw marks, but this is rough cut, right? This isn't finished cutting. But very happy with the quality of the cut. Let's see how we did on straightness. And we have a straight cut. That is excellent. If you're being really critical here, you could maybe say, golly, there's after this knot here, there's maybe a 32nd of an inch dip, not even that much. And that's there's a knot right here, and there's a knot right here. Yeah, maybe a 32nd of an inch, maybe less, but that is straight. Let's take a look at the log. So let me get this out of the way. rid of the sawdust. That is nice. That is very nice. Beginning of the cut is great. After the knots is great. Like I said, if you wanted to be super critical, you could maybe say there's a 32nd of an inch, whoops, or less after the knot, but that's it. Beginning of the cut, like I said, excellent, stays square, goes all the way through. That baby is flat. That is excellent. So the old 1987 WoodMizer LT-40 hydraulic is working very, very well. Very pleased with that. So, excellent. Thanks for sawmilling with me today.